Hey there, wonderful viewers. I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we dive into an essential topic. It's perfect for this time of year since this week is the beginning of fall, the fall home maintenance checklist. As we take time to enjoy the leaves changing colors and the air getting crisper, it's time to get our homes ready for cooler months ahead. So get your pumpkin latte and get ready to work. Let's get started. First, let's start on the outside. We want to make sure that we inspect everything and make sure it's in good condition before the cold weather comes along and ice and snow. So you want to start at the top, start with your roof and your gutters and your downspouts. Make sure there's no clogs and no water damage. Make sure that they're not filled up with leaves. Even if you have gutter guards, you do need to make sure you check your gutters and make sure everything's clean and moving. Make sure your downspouts are actually putting your water away from your house so you don't have damage to your foundation or anything on the inside or maybe causing erosion on your outside. And make sure that you are very safe and careful when you do clean your gutters. If you're not comfortable on a ladder, you might want to go ahead and hire a professional and have them clean it out and take a look. You want to check for any damage to your shingles, to your siding, to your gutters. And if there's minor repairs, maybe you can do it yourself. If it's major repairs, you probably want to get a handyman. It's also a good time to check your driveway. If there's any major cracks, you want to go ahead and fill them and seal your driveway, because if you wait until after fall or winter, then you're going to have ice and snow that melt and refreeze in there and make the cracks bigger. You also, if you have a crawl space and not a basement or a slab, you want to go ahead and close your vents for the winter. That makes sure you keep the cold weather out of your crawl space and keep it warmer so your floors feel warmer and they have to work harder. Your furnace has to work not as hard to keep your house warm in the cooler months. You also want to check your outdoor plumbing and make sure you need to winterize your house. Whether you're there or not, you still need to winterize your house. So that means disconnecting any hoses, draining your garden hoses as well, so not only does your faucet not freeze, but your hoses don't freeze, because you want to be able to reconnect them in the spring when you get ready to maintain your lawn again. And it is a good idea to have a freeze-proof hose bib so that if you do forget, then it still doesn't break. But if you don't have a freeze-proof, you most certainly want to disconnect your hoses. They also have these little insulation boxes that you can put over your outside faucets to just make extra sure that you're not going to get frozen during the cooler months and when it does get below freezing. Now that we've covered the exterior, let's step inside and make sure it stays nice and warm throughout the fall and winter. The first thing, of course, that you're going to want to check is your heat and air system. If you haven't changed your filter recently, now is the time to do it. I recommend that you change your furnace filters monthly. Even though sometimes they have 3-month filters, they can be too easily forgotten and sometimes they build up quicker than you think. So it's best to sort of get the cheapest ones you can find and change them out monthly, especially if you have pets like me. All that hair gets in there along with all the dust and it can do damage to your heat and air system. You might want to check out about a professional inspection that can come out and see if your system needs cleaned, or if it just is working great, they can make sure that it will kick on when you turn it over to heat when you're ready to. And of course, you want to make sure that you have propane in your tank as well, so that if you have a gas furnace and not electric, then it will kick on when you go to turn it to heat. If you have a water heater like me that runs on propane, that's probably not going to be an issue, but you just want to make sure that when you turn that thermostat over to heat, that everything is going to work. The fan's going to keep working and the heat is actually going to pump out. And talking about your thermostat, you may save some money and keep your house more comfortable if you have a programmable one. It can save you a lot of money and make you more comfortable by setting a schedule of a certain time and date where there's a certain temperature. So if your family is gone all day at school and work, you can set it to a cooler temperature in the winter and a warmer temperature in the summer, so your system doesn't have to work overtime when you're not even there to enjoy it. And keep in mind, ceiling fans, you'll want to change the direction in the winter, but they're not for cooling a room. They're for cooling a person. The room does not get cooler by having your ceiling fan on. It basically cools the perspiration on your skin. So that's why a ceiling fan shouldn't be running all the time, just when you're in the room. And of course, along with heating and air and energy efficiency, we also want to check our insulation. This is a great time to see if you've got enough in your ceiling and your walls and your floors. And as well, you want to also check for your window and door insulation. Make sure there's not any cracks in the seal that you have around them. If you don't have seals, you might want to put some on, or some door sweeps to keep out not only the air that you don't want, whether it's cold or hot, depending on the season, but also any bugs and pests you want to keep out as well. And keep in mind that there are great programs available by the electric companies in our areas to help you with this energy efficiency, making sure you have light bulbs that are efficient, making sure that you have adequate insulation in your home. I've gotten insulation put in several homes at no cost to me. This is through the electric company. And also they are now offering a AC heat and air checkup. So like I mentioned earlier, you can just call the electric company, set an appointment with the guy who does that. He's a contractor that works with the electric company, and you can get that done for free and make sure that your system is working and in good condition. Obviously, they're not gonna repair it or replace it, but they will clean it to make sure that it is in good condition every year. So why not take advantage of it if it's free to you? So now that we've covered the exterior and the interior, we're going to step back outside and cover some landscaping issues. You do want to prepare your garden for the fall and winter. You want to make sure you trim back any bushes, rake any leaves, and add any mulch as needed. You may want to be planting autumn-friendly flowers for color, especially if you're looking for curb appeal and you're selling your home. Maybe just get a few pots of mums, or pumpkins are really nice along the steps if you're wanting that curb appeal. And also, as far as trimming back and raking, even if you're in an area like we are where we have a lot of undeveloped land surrounding us, you still want to keep those leaves raked even though they keep coming back into your yard as you root them. Not only is it better for your grass, it'll keep it greener if the leaves are raked away so that it can grow and get the moisture it needs in the roots, but it's also a good way to keep pests out of your lawn. Ticks and fleas and all kinds of things. Use those leaves as breeding ground because as they're deteriorating, that's what they use to eat if they can't find other bugs to eat. So it's a great thing for both your garden and your lawn to keep those leaves taken care of. Also, while working on landscaping, you want to take care of your tools. So it's the time now, as you're finishing up your lawn mowing and your weed whacking, to drain all the gaps from your tools and store them away for the fall and winter, not to be taken out until the spring. You want to empty that gas so it doesn't mess up the motor and you're not using old gas when you go to start it up in the spring. And it's a great time to get your winter tools out. If you probably aren't going to have a snowblower in our area, but make sure you do have a shovel on the chance that we're going to get some snow or an ice scraper, and definitely ice melt, because once there's an ice storm, it is gone and it's very high priced if you wait till after the storm, and sometimes you just can't get it. So it's a good idea to stock up on some ice melt. So lastly, with landscaping, you want to be taking care of your trees with pruning and mulching. Fall can be a really good time to be pruning because you can already see what branches don't have leaves on them and could be made to fall during a storm in the winter and could cause damage to your roof or your siding. So you want to get rid of any of those tree branches that aren't going to be living come spring. It's also a great time to take care of your lawn. If you really want it to be nice and green in the summer, then you can aerate and seed and fertilize it so you have the soil protected and the roots continue to grow throughout the winter and cooler months. If you have a chimney, you definitely want to take the fall time to prepare for the cooler months and get it cleaned and inspected. Lots of times your local fire department will inspect it for safety, but you may want to also get an actual chimney sweep in there to make sure that there's no cracks or damage that need to be fixed before you start your next fire. And a sweep is also a great idea just to make sure that you've got all the bases covered. I know our insurance at Farm Bureau gives us a discount if we get the chimney swept every year. And we did have one year where they came and inspected it and we had to put a liner in because we had a crack. So it's just best to be safe. It's a very common way to have house fires is to have a chimney, and that's not in good working order. Another tip is that if you want to stay with the same type of wood, either use the seasoned wood or green wood all the time, but don't switch back and forth from one to the other. And one chimney sweep told us just to burn an aluminum can in the fireplace, and that keeps it really clean. And also you can use your mantle as a great place to really pull out the character in your home, decorate with pumpkins and leaves, or just happy fall y'all, just to make sure that you really bring out the character in your home. And additionally, on the chimney, you also want to have them check the chimney cap and make sure things are going out that are supposed to, like the smoke, and animals are not getting in, and depending on what you do with the flue. And of course, this is on a wood burning fireplace. If you have a gas fireplace, you shouldn't have to have it inspected because you don't have the exhaust going out there, you have it just coming into the room. So that would be for a wood burning fireplace. And if you have a gas fireplace, you still might want to get it inspected to make sure there's not a gas leak and it's in working order as well. Some more tips that don't really fall under home maintenance is every October the fire department recommends that you check your smoke alarm batteries and your fire extinguishers to make sure they're not expired. You want to also make sure that your smoke alarms are in the right place. They should be in every bedroom and outside of every bedroom in the hallway on every level of your home. Not so much in the kitchen where you're making a lot of food and can set it off accidentally. And it may seem like overkill that you have it inside and outside of the bedroom, but you want to be notified as soon as possible if there is smoke in your house, and so you can see to make your escape. On an organizing level, this is a great time to back up your computer with all your files and pictures and make sure those are protected. So maybe you could just grab a flash drive if your house is on fire instead of trying to grab a bunch of books that you have all your pictures in as you go out the door. On a more personal level, it's a great time to clean out any pantries or closets. As a woman, I swap out my summer clothes for my winter clothes. It's also a good time to make sure that everything still fits. And if you're not using it, go ahead and donate it. If you have kids, it's a great time to go through their toys and get rid of anything that they don't play with or they've just outgrown and donate those too. And there you have it, our home maintenance checklist to keep your home cozy and efficient throughout the season. Remember, taking care of these tasks now can save you time, money, and headaches in the long run. If you enjoyed today's in-depth guide, watch this video on renovating a house. As always, stay warm, stay safe, and have a blessed day.